Hello there, there's new physical media. That means it's time for an update. Hello, welcome back to my world of stuff. My name, Paul Mount. Right, before I start, a quick apology for the previous video, The Black Demon, which I edited and uploaded last night. I didn't realise until I edited there was a lot of background noise, a lot of squawking birds and the sounds of nature, as I described them in a caption. That I wasn't necessarily aware of when I recorded it because I live sort of out in the countryside in a village, and there's always animals of some sort wandering around, sheep, horses, pterodactyls, and all sorts of squawking gulls and things. So that was the background of the last video. Hope it wasn't too annoying. Today you might hear some drilling. There's some drilling going on somewhere in the village, so apologies if that's a distraction as well. Such a noisy world. Right, I have some new physical media which I've picked up in the last few days, so there is time for an update. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new items that I've picked up. Some from charity shops, some from sales, nothing full price because I don't do full price these days. So let's have a quick spin through the things I bought and how I bought them. Right, I'll do the charity shoppy stuff first of all. I went on a little day trip yesterday with a friend of mine and his missus, a place called Porthcawl, seaside town in South Wales. A couple of charity shops there, and I picked up a few discs, 10p each, I believe they were. It's funny with physical media stuff these days, especially DVDs. Charity shops are full of DVDs now. People getting rid of their collections and moving to streaming, which I think is a mistake, but there we are. Although some charity shops, I've noticed, don't stock much physical media now. They're sort of even finding that DVDs and things don't sell. So it's odd now. You sort of pick these things up at bargain prices and sometimes wonder why. And very often, because I've got so many of these, I can't remember if I've got them or not. I know I haven't got these 4. So I shall run through them. It's the first series of BBC's very popular cop corruption drama Line of Duty. I remember watching this series. It was on BBC Two, the first series. It was originally shown back in 2013. And I'm not a massive fan of police stuff. I think Britain does too many police shows and police dramas and things. But this was something a little bit different. And of course, it has developed over the following, 5 or 6 seasons into a bit of a modern TV phenomenon. So it'll be nice to revisit the first series. I know they're all on the iPlayer, but for 10p you get 2 discs which are immaculate condition, and I still support physical media, so I wasn't going to leave that there. I picked up this one as well. I've seen this, I remember seeing this in the cinema. I haven't seen it since. It's Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Julianne Moore, Emma Stone and co. in a film called Crazy Stupid Love, directed by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa. This is an interesting sort of slightly odd love story. Carl Weaver, played by Steve Carell, thinks his marriage is perfect until his wife Emily, Julianne Moore, asks for divorce. Now Carl is single, looking for love with the help of expert lady killer Jacob Palmer, Ryan Gosling, who gives Carl's manhood a remarkable makeover. Amid inappropriate crushes and romantic encounters, Carl and Jacob discover that being a player without the right partner just isn't crazy and stupid. It's impossible! It sounds like a wacky, sort of stupid, gross American comedy. It's actually quite sweet. So I remember seeing it years ago. I think I saw it in the cinema. I don't know what the circumstances were that possessed me to see this in the cinema, but I did, and yeah, it's quite good. It's probably worth a revisit. It's not a long film. It's 113 minutes, so it's nearly 2 hours. But again, good quality disc. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people do seem to look after these discs, so when you get rid of them, they are going to be pretty good condition. This is one I've never seen. I'm not a massive Western fan, but this has an interesting cast and sounds quite intriguing. Just taking the labels off the back. I hate people who leave, well, I don't hate the people, but I hate the principle of leaving labels on things. You see people on YouTube who, I bought this and I bought that, and they've got the labels all over. Get those labels off. This is called Seraphim Falls. Stars Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson. Tough, gritty and exciting chase thriller. Mesmerising, says the Daily Mirror, so come on, it's got to be true. A taut action film, an epic chase and primal battle set in the breathtaking landscape of the West. Yeah, sounds interesting. I've sort of heard of it. I've sort of remember it coming out. Good cast though, Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson. Angelica Houston turns up in there. So yeah, it should be quite interesting. Again, nearly 2 hours. As I say, I'm not a massive Western fan, but occasionally you get things like Bone Tomahawk, for example, which was a great film which came out a few years ago. Sort of a horror Western. So, and 310 to Yuma, which I've never seen. I've got it on Blu-ray, but never got around to watching it. So, yeah, that could be one to watch quite soon. I also picked up this. This is for resale purposes. In its it hasn't been opened. It's still in its shrink wrap, although it's been sort of split on the side, but it hasn't been opened. It's the first season of The Handmaid's Tale, starring Elizabeth Moss, from the book by Margaret Atwell. I did watch the first couple of series of this on TV. It's relentlessly grim. It's really, not as depressing exactly, but it's not a fun series to watch, but it's brilliantly made. And I'd say I did see about 2 series, but it sort of wore me down a bit. And I think the 6th or 7th series is coming up soon. As I say, this is in its shrink wrap. And, oh no, it's not. Thought it was in its shrink wrap. No, it's just sort of cellophane-y. But, yeah, this is one that I'm probably not going to keep. The discs are all in good condition. I think there's 5 discs in all. Yeah, but it's a good show, and yeah, hopefully that'll find a home somewhere. Right, those are all the charity shops pickups from yesterday. I also picked this one up from Poundland. Remember Poundland? Remember how Poundland used to do regular, they actually have regular deliveries and shipments of DVDs and Blu-rays. That stopped last year. There's bits left in the shops now. Picked up this called Wedding Video. I know it says £2, but it was actually £1. Interesting cast. It's got Robert Webb. It's got Lucy Punch from Motherland. It's got Matt Berry, Miriam Margolyes. And I've sort of heard of it. And I've seen it on the shelf before. It looks quite interesting. I hate that word, interesting. So bland. Set in the cutthroat world of English society weddings, the wedding video is a completely fresh, up-close and personal digital take on the wedding comedy genre. Best man turns war reporter as he films his brother's wedding as it crashes and burns before his very eyes. Yeah, sounds like might be a bit of fun. And for £1, I bet Poundland were glad to get one of these taken off their hands, because these things don't go. Right, a couple of other odds. In fact, there's a few more other odds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 more to show you. I'll show you this one first of all, because the rest came from one source. I saw another chap on YouTube who picked this up from Amazon for about $5.20, $5.30. Life of Pi, Ang Lee's incredible production of the novel. Yeah, this is a really good film. It's on 4K. It was about £5.22, I think. Got it on Blu-ray. Saw it in the cinema. It's a stunning film. The visuals are, or were, astonishing. Of course, this was made 11 years ago, so I don't know if it's dated or not. But I'm looking forward to it. I've only ever seen it once. Again, it's one of those ones that I saw in the cinema, thought, wow, that's great. Picked it up on physical media, but just never got around to a rewatch. It's due a rewatch. It deserves one. So that's Life of Pi. Still available on Amazon for about £5.20, I think. The rest of them, which I have here, are all pickups from HMV. There, I won't spoil it by showing you all at this stage. The big promotional thing they had, getting rid of lots of old Blu-rays and DVDs, 20% off some of them, and there was a 2 for $24 on some recent titles. So I picked up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 5 of the reduced things. These are films which I haven't seen, I haven't got, and I wanted to see. So the first one is The Courier. Now, I did think, actually, that I already had this. I may well have, but I haven't checked properly. I will check later. This is The Courier. I saw this film in the cinema about 2 years ago. This is a film that I went to see because a couple of friends wanted to see it. And I thought, well, I don't know if it's my cup of tea, but it looks like it might be interesting. Benedict Cumberbatch, Jessie Buckley, Angus Wright. It's the story of Greville Wynne, who was a fairly bland, unassuming sort of British businessman during the war, who gets entangled in an international conflict when he forms a partnership with a Soviet officer and ends up smuggling important information back to the UK. I think without realising it half the time. A really good film, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is always good value. This is a really good film, directed by Dominic Cook. Saw this once in the cinema. This is definitely a rewatch. It's one of those ones a bit like The Duke, in that sort of low-key sort of British drama. But it's a very good film. I mentioned about the labels. The labels are still on. They're coming off as soon as I finish recording. Next up, I saw this at probably on TV fairly recently. A really powerful film from Ken Loach called Sorry I Missed You. It's it's all about contemporary, and it's typical Ken Loach sort of gritty, difficult film about this family who are struggling to keep their heads above water in the gig economy. The lead character, played by Reece Stone, is just struggling to get a job, and he gets a job as a delivery driver with all the pressure that entails. Meanwhile, his family's struggling to stay afloat. It's a very good film, very gritty, very uncompromising, and totally different to the sort of things I usually watch. And I watched this. It was on BBC Two last year, I think. I probably saw it on the iPlayer. Very good. And it was a couple of quid, £3 or something, so I thought I'll have that. This has also been on TV, and I've meant to watch it. I've meant to catch up with it before. This stars Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith, Queen and Slim. This again has been on TV fairly recently, and I've been meaning to pick it up for a while. It's a story about this young couple who go on a first date, which goes a bit wrong when one of them ends up killing a cop. And it's supposed to be very good. I'm not a massive fan of Daniel Kaluuya, I have to admit. He's very good. But this is supposed to be a very good film, and I'm looking forward to catching up with this at last. This came out a few years back. Anyway, Blu-ray, again, it was about £3, £4 on the HMV sale. I don't know if the sale is still on. If it is, you might want to have a little look, because there's some good stuff there. Also picked up this one. This I saw in the cinema a few years ago. It's a terrific film, directed by Catherine Bigelow. 142 minutes, and it stars John Boyega, Will Poulter, and various others. This is called Detroit. This purports to be the true story of the Detroit riots in the 1970s. It's the events that transpires around the riots that took place, the race riots. I saw this in the cinema. Now, I don't know if I saw this in the cinema or as one of my shifts when I used to be a volunteer usher in a art cinema in Cardiff. It may well be I saw it there. I may have gone to see it in the cinema, but anyway, whatever. It's a great film. I've seen it once, and I'm really glad to have picked this up quite cheaply on Blu-ray. And the last one of the bag, the cheapos, is one which came out a few years ago. Again, I haven't seen it. This came out 2018. Stars Paddy Considine, who directed it, also Jodie Whittaker, formerly of Doctor Who. It's called Journeyman. It's the story of middleweight boxing champion Matty Burton, played by Paddy Considine, who collapses. Journey towards regaining his speech, movement and memory will be the toughest fight he'll ever face, and the prize could not be greater, for his relationship with his wife Emma, Jodie Whittaker, and baby daughter Mia are on the line. Again, it's a lot of these actually interesting in sort of not the sort of films you would normally associate with me, sort of domestic-y, gritty sort of films. But I've always sort of been interested in this film, and it always sounded very good. And I'm looking forward to catching up with that at some point. It's only 94 minutes. I get obsessed with the times of films sometimes. Then the two others I picked up are two Blu-rays that came up fairly recently, now in the 2 for 24. As you know, normally Blu-rays can be £24 or £20. You just have to sit and wait, and you get them a bit cheaper. It's just so overpriced they are. I picked up Shazam, Fury of the Gods, complete with a slipcase, in a thin cover. Not a massive fan of the thin sleeves, but it doesn't really matter, it doesn't bother me. I like this film. There's a review further back in the channel if you want to have a look at it. I just think it's a shame this film didn't do very well, because I think it's a really good fun sequel. It's great special effects, it's got some great monsters. I think I mentioned in my initial review that it had that sort of Ray Harryhausen feel about it. And I like I just like the character. I think the character's really interesting. Zachary Levi, of course, is Billy Batson, Shazam. You've got a guest cast that includes Helen Mirren. It's just good fun, and I think it's this sort of people not interested in DC films now because they know the DC Extended Universe is coming to an end, so they think, well, why are we bothering to see these films? And they don't, because The Flash has also crashed and burned fairly recently in the last week or so. But I think this is worth a watch. It's just good, colourful fun. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And the last one from the 2 in 24 is M. Night Shyamalan's most recent, Knock at the Cabin. Again, slipcover, again, thin case, but that's okay, that's okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Again, there is a review further back on the channel if you want to hear my thoughts in more detail. This is really interesting film, one of his better films of recent vintage. It's the story of a family of 3 who are just spending a break at a remote cabin. 4 mysterious visitors arrive and hold them hostage and tell them that one of them has to die to save the world. It's an unthinkable choice. Very good, very tense, really well done, and a really good performance from Dave Bautista as one of the invaders. We're sort of used to seeing him as people like Drax, where he delivers this sort of strong-arm performance, but here he shows that he actually is a very good actor, and I'm interested to see where he goes. So that's Knock at the Cabin. So that's my pickups for the last few days. So I thought I'd do an unexpected video because I don't think there's anything else coming. But as there's like 15 titles there, I thought it might be worth doing an update vid. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's now Tuesday lunchtime. When I stop recording here, I'm going to fire up the projector. I'm going to watch Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You may see that review before you see this video. And then, of course, Dial of Destiny tomorrow. So that review will definitely be up tomorrow night. Right, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Until I do, keep kicking the stuff.